Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to the live stream of In Your Face. Okay, this series is slowly winding down, and it won't be much longer that the series In Your Face will probably be going away. But I figure if this series is going to go out, it's going to go out with a bang. So we're going to cover a lot of ground today. I'm going to kind of start waiting till people start filing in. We got a lot of ground to cover today. We're going to be talking about COPPA and how it affects the creators. I know a lot of other YouTubers have actually done this. They've already kind of started hitting up and talking about COPPA and how it affects other creators and how it affects and everything. But I'm going to dumb it down. I know a lot of us out there have not had a chance to sit down. Hey, what's going on, Sean? Thanks for coming to the live, brother. All right. Basically, in a nutshell, we're going to be kind of cutting, doing a big cut and dry on COPPA. And then we're going to talk about what the creators now can do. So if you yourself are a creator, this is definitely the live stream you want to be in because this one's going to cover a lot of the problems with YouTube that we've been suffering now for almost 4 years. And it all started with the adpocalypse that's still technically going on right now. So we're going to cover a lot of ground in this one. Once I start, I will not be stopping all that much. We will be taking a break throughout this, a couple of different points. So you guys can ask me some questions because I know there's going to be a lot of questions, but I do not want to stop because we got a lot of ground to cover, okay? And I will warn you, when it comes to the hard work that all of us creators put into YouTube and that sort of thing, I will get very passionate on all of you. Already, I see 2 likes going on. I see a total of 4 of you in there here. So, without further ado, when I start, I'm not going to backtrack. Okay, so I'm going to kind of warn y'all. Hey, the Chilled Viper coming in. All right, awesome. Thank you for stopping in. We got a lot of ground to cover. Okay. So the first thing that we need to talk about is COPPA itself. Now, for those who are not up to speed on COPPA, and we got Gamer in here. Oh man, that is awesome. We're just about to start talking about COPPA. And once this starts, I will not be stopping all that much. If you miss anything, I'm going to suggest that you go back and watch the playback. So if you miss anything, like I said, we just started. We're going to cover a lot of ground. All right. So first thing that we need to talk about is COPPA. All right. For those who are not in the know, COPPA is kind of that whole section of the FCC that their main objective is kind of watching out for the kids, basically making sure that stuff's not targeted towards kids. Folks, I grew up in the 1980s, and in the 1980s, cartoons were really focused on making our parents buy stuff for us kids. And that's how it was back in the 1980s. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. A lot of people talk about how great the cartoon was. It's still great. The original is great. She-Ra, Princess of Power, the sister show to He-Man. Screw you, Netflix, for messing up that show. But all that was focused on getting our parents to buy stuff, buy toys for us kids. Thundercats was another one. I had the original Thundercats. So you guys already know what I'm talking about. G.I. Joe. Oh my gosh, that was like a half an hour TV commercial. Okay. And the original writers of G.I. Joe often said, up until like the late 80s, early 90s, they pretty well had free reign of the show, and they would always figure out how to work the new products in. But there at the end, it was all focused on the product, and the storylines really suffered. So you guys already see where this is going. My Little Pony was like the original My Little Pony was like that. It was all targeted towards us kids to get us to ask our parents to buy us that next toy. Now, since that time, it's been that sort of stuff has been considered unethical. Okay, so now we have a section of the FCC known as COPPA. Their job is to make sure that that stuff is not happening. So parents will set up a Google account for their kids. They go in, start watching stuff on YouTube, and what happens is that and a lot of people tend to forget this, YouTube is run by Google. Google bought out YouTube some years ago, and a lot of people now here on the internet are getting to the point where we're really getting kind of fed up with how Google runs things. I'm going to give you and I'm going to explain a little bit more about this as this live stream progresses. But in a nutshell, with the way the algorithms are set up, is there was more or less ads and things like that being targeted towards these kids that now have these Google accounts that their parents set up, and they were doing it through the videos us creators were putting out there. So when the FCC kind of came, when COPPA kind of came down on YouTube, there was a fine. YouTube paid that fine. They were like, yeah, we were in the wrong. It was nasty practices on our part. But then, they're like, we got to change policy. And then they dropped it in our laps. Okay. And they were very vague about it. Surprise, surprise. This is a common practice for YouTube, that they'll drop this stuff in our lap. Okay. And we're sitting there going like, what are we supposed to do? Well, during this, when all of this started coming down the pipe, a lot of creators were like, well, screw it, I'm going over to Twitch. So YouTube lost a lot of its creators, and a lot of really good creators went over to Twitch and shut down their channels here on YouTube. Along with that, I have actually seen some of my dear friends in the gaming community that go so far as to say mature content, 18 or older. And I've even seen in a few instances where, kids that want to watch, maybe say something like Fortnite or whatever, they'll go in and they're like, hey, if you're 18, you got to go. All right. And the moderators will even have to go so far. They're like, get out of here, man. And you'll come back and watch this when you're 18. And so in a nutshell, a lot of us creators have gotten very scared. Now, one creator actually hopped a plane, and if I remember correctly from the video, and I do not remember the individual, he actually hopped a plane and went coast to coast. He actually went from somewhere in California and flew all the way to Washington, D.C., went up to the FCC office and talked to the guy in charge of COPPA. In a nutshell, that creator asked a lot of questions. And he started calling out people at YouTube by name. Evidently, he's high enough up there. I forget how many subs this dude's got. But he actually went to that point and started calling out people by name at YouTube HQ to make things, to make things crystal clear for us creators. And it's still been a nightmare for us. Again, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of break it down. I'm going to give kind of like the dumbed down version of this whole thing. If you're in a foreign country, COPPA really will not affect you, okay? It really won't affect you. The reason why it won't affect you is because of that whole extradition sort of thing. And a lot of countries are going to kind of view it as the U.S., sticking their nose. If someone's big in another country, that's not their problem, okay? If we're watching them over here, that's not their problem. That's people watching someone in their country in the US and they're making money. Okay. So they're not going to care. All right. Plain and simple. They're not going to bust one of their own internet celebs just because of some bad practices from, a company inside the United States. All right. So if you're in a foreign country, it will not affect you. Along with that, even if you are in the U.S., that's exactly right. Across the pond, sorry about that, folks. I totally had a problem right there. I believe that YouTube is attempting to stop this stream, but guess what? We are not stopping. All right. So if you're across the pond, do not worry, okay? It's really not going to affect you. And along with that, it's really also especially not going to affect you if you are a small YouTube channel. So I'm going to go out on a limb when I say small, because there's a lot of us out there that are getting pretty big. The Prince Magnum channel is above that 1,000 sub marker. Okay. So we're now, the Prince Magnum channel is now entering that mid-timer area. So even then, it still doesn't really affect us. All right. Now, when you start getting up around, 7, 8,000 subs, that's when it's going to start affecting you. Okay. So that being said, do you still need to worry? And the answer to that is nah, not really. Because you have in your, when you go live or you put out a video, there's settings that say that it's not kid friendly. So you're safe there again. You do not have to worry about that. All right. And I'm going to say it right now. Okay. This is the one thing that I think it takes Prince Magnum to go live and say exactly this. Do not worry about turning on that setting or saying that 18 or older. It is not your responsibility to decide what is okay for other people's children to watch. Thank you, Sean. It is not your responsibility to decide if one of my kids wants to watch one of your streams and they're under the age of 18. It is not your responsibility to decide if it's okay for me to let them watch your stream. Don't bother with that. I'm going to tell you right now, that's an example of bad parenting. If the parents are sitting there going, well, my kid was, no, it's not your responsibility. There's settings on that, when you set up their YouTube account, which if you have a Google account, you already have a YouTube account. I'm going to say it right now. If the parent did not put that do their job and decide what they can watch and what they can't watch, then I'm going to say it right now. It's the parent's fault. Okay. Along with that, when that one particular creator went out to Washington, D.C. and started talking to the people who were in charge of COPPA, they were very forthcoming. They mainly said that it's not the creators that caused this problem. It is not us. We, as the creators, do not have to worry. We don't need to worry about it. They're not looking at us, okay? They generally understand that, I'm going to say about 9.5% of us, 9.5 times out of 10, we're catering to a mixed audience. And we already know this. As a matter of fact, here on the Prince Magnum channel, I constantly take credit that I can talk about risque subjects in surviving romance. And still, if we're talking about, certain subjects that are kind of naughty for children to hear, that I can still do it. You can watch my video and not have to worry about, your kids running around and hearing Prince Magnum talk about dirty things. Okay. I take pride in that. So it's okay to say your channel is family friendly. Okay. Which is exactly what we have right here. So, does COPPA really affect us creators? No, it doesn't. YouTube was not forthcoming with that information, okay? They were not forthcoming with that information. So, now I know all of you have some questions by now. Go ahead, and we're going to take those questions from what I have been able to pick up. But COPPA really does not affect us creators. It's one of those things, you go in, you do the settings, but just remember, when you turn off that setting that basically says it's 18 or older, if you're a monetized channel, which is one of the things that the Prince Magnum channel is shooting for itself, you're actually cutting out the monetization. You're cutting away your own money. Okay. So don't do that. And don't worry about busting your moderator, having your moderators bust those people. Right. Exactly right. We're the ones taking the hit. Okay. So I'm going to say it again. YouTube did a good job hitting us creators right across the face. Okay. So I'm going to say it again. We got hurt on this one, and they left it vague and left it up to mystery. And a creator had to go all the way from coast to coast just to get the information for us. That is bull, okay? That is total bull. So if you're a creator, breathe easy, okay? Breathe easy. Your COPPA does not affect you, okay? It does not affect you. What it does affect is YouTube. If they're using the typical practices of Google, which the internet nowadays, it's totally different than what it was when I first started playing around on the internet back in 1998. It's a totally new ball game, folks. Totally new. All right. This is not as it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Google, what it does is it has algorithms designed to kind of focus towards you. All right. That's why you're starting to see the ads now about DuckDuckGo, because they don't do that. All right. And you're going to start seeing probably more ads on Tor. Okay. Because you can now eliminate, what you searched and things like that and the websites you were on, which Tor is not what it used to be. Okay. I know what a lot of people think, but Tor browsers aren't as bad as what they are. Okay. So we're going to probably start seeing more and more use of Tor and the use of DuckDuckGo. Now that we have established all of that, that's a lot to put out there. Okay. Let me explain right now. Again, YouTube is owned by Google. And for those who do not remember this, some years ago, the Chinese Communist Party kicked Google out of China. Google is not allowed to operate on the internet inside China. They have Gujie there, and that's actually really hilarious because Gujie is just something totally. It's a mockery of Google. Now, Google has been for quite some time trying to get back inside of China, which is why we're seeing the algorithms that we do on Google. So because of that, and the fact that Google owns YouTube, we actually are seeing those practices typically used by Google, and you'll see these practices used on Facebook, and you'll see it on other forms of social media and things like that, believe it or not, Google owns, okay? And the reason why they're doing that is because they're trying to get back into China. You got to remember, the Chinese Communist Party does a lot of stuff like this. So what we're actually seeing is practices that you would see in communist China because Google's trying to get back into China, which at one point we were starting to see where that was a possibility until this whole stuff with COPPA came down the pipe. When our federal government stepped in and said no more of this, that's when it stopped. Again, now we're starting to take those questions, all right? So, again, COPPA does not affect the creators really, because even the guy who runs COPPA at the FCC went out of his way. He actually went out of his way and said, we're not looking at the creators. We understand. This guy was really savvy. From what I understand, the one creator who had to hop the plane, he was really savvy about this. And he's like, we're not looking at you guys. You guys are safe. We pretty well know what we're looking for. Okay. And so for those of you that have got like the fan art of My Little Pony, you don't have to worry. They pretty well know that that's kind of a mixed audience sort of thing. And even though in some cases, some of that gets kind of, that's not your responsibility to decide, again, we're back to the parents are going to have to start stepping in. So none of us have to worry. Okay. Breathe easy, folks. Breathe easy. All right. So now that we have discussed how COPPA really does not affect us creators, and real quick, I want to thank everyone for the 6 likes. I cannot see if there's any dislikes. But if you're disliking this, I'm telling you right now, this is kind of a freedom of speech sort of thing where a creator has to go out there and say, this has got to stop. Now the second part, okay? The second part of this, all right? Right now I'm checking to see, okay. The second part of this And I'm going to say right now, all right, I'm already looking into this. I'm already taking a close look at this. And I know right now, YouTube's going to crap a Miata, okay? They're going to freaking flip because a creator's going to come out and say it. For those that do not know, at one time, the Prince Magnum channel was fully monetized. If you wanted to actually drop, if you wanted to look up my channel directly through Google, I'm going to tell you, you would be surprised to know the Prince Magnum channel actually has its own custom URL. That's how partnered we were with YouTube, okay? Now that I have said that, okay, now that I have blatantly said the Prince Magnum channel is partnered with YouTube, when the adpocalypse happened, okay, they were very vague about what it was going to take, all this other stuff. And the adpocalypse had even started, before the adpocalypse, where they were already hitting us for the censorship and everything. And even I supported YouTube to a degree on that. We all understood when we signed on, there were certain things that we could and couldn't do. We understood that completely. Now that we have said that, let me also say, plain and simple, they have taken it too far. There's been channels now that have been shut down because of the adpocalypse. These are also, like the Prince Magnum channel, were fully monetized and partnered with YouTube. That is not a business partnership, folks. It still says that on the Prince Magnum channel. Partnered, okay? And what are we talking about? Business partnership. Business partnership. My business partner, if you will, cut me out of the money I'm supposed to be making, okay? Along with that, they did it to several other channels. Along with that, there's even bigger channels that they'll go in and turn off the monetization, and those channels have to constantly go through and turn it back on. YouTube goes so far as to go in and they'll turn off, they'll take away our subscribers, saying, well, they've been active for certain. That is not part of the agreement when I signed on. Okay. You changed that policy long afterwards. So I don't remember agreeing to that. My subscribers are mine. They joined my channel, so give them back. Okay. I recently, since hitting 1,000, I actually had a friend that during a purge on my channel, and bear in mind, when YouTube did a purge, when I'm hitting 1,000, normally it's about 10, 15, maybe 20. They went so far, 52 overnight. 52 were purged from the Prince Magnum channel. So we already know I'm on the radar, okay? That being said, I'm going to say it again and again and again, all right? There has to be a way to protect our channels, okay? Because YouTube, this whole thing with COPPA was designed to scare us creators, make us shut down our channels. They keep any ad revenue that they can send to another channel, a much, much bigger one. And those of us who've got, less than 20,000 subscribers get screwed in the process, okay? So we have to have a way to protect our channel. Now is the time that I think all of us creators, and I'm looking at even the big ones because you guys get hit too. I'm looking at you, PewDiePie, Markiplier, big names like that. I'm looking at you guys right now. We need your help, all of us here in the community. If you have gotten so big that you've forgotten the other guy, what it was like to be in our shoes, you hear where I'm going with this, okay? You don't deserve the people backing you at that point. So I'm looking at all of you out there, all of you, every last one of you, okay? Sorry about that, folks. I do believe there's an attempt to stop what we're doing, okay? I believe there's a serious attempt to stop what we're doing. So we're going to say it again, okay? What the creators actually need at this point is their own union. Similar to what we would see it say like Chrysler, all right? What am I talking about? What am I saying it's time for? The creators have got to put together their own union. And so I'm going to look towards right now the bigger YouTube channels. Markiplier, you've got a YouTube channel. How many millions are you in? Do you deserve those subs if you're not willing to back the community? You know, the smaller guy like us, you say you do. So I'm looking your direction. I'm looking at the direction of someone like PewDiePie. Brother, one time you were in my shoes. You were in a lot of the other creators' shoes. What was it like to be in our shoes, having to scrape and try to get to that spot where you are? It's time for you to look towards us, to start sticking your neck out there. Whenever you form a union like what I'm describing, what it entails is there's going to be some, you got to have a committee and they got to make their money. So it's going to require a dues. I'm figuring about, I'm going to say, $10 a year from how many creators here in the US? Last I looked, it was in the millions. Okay, which is like a billion there's like billions of channels around the world. So now you're talking about, in the, like the billions here in the US that have YouTube channels. And then those $10 a year, and they're covered. What are they being covered? Lawyers. A lawyer will then turn right around. If YouTube tries to change policy on us and be very transparent, they can actually go in and say, no, you can't do this to our creators. It stops right here. And if YouTube persists, they can take them to court. Okay. Which I know Google at that point does not want to have, their big flagship, that their big money makers start having to go to court every time you turn around. That's the last thing Google needs, because it'll be a complete embarrassment over in China, and China will still say, well, you guys, obviously aren't on board with what we can do. So that'll stop it right there. So again, we're starting to see how the business practices actually work. Okay. So if you stayed with me this long, and I know right now my counter is kind of goofy and everything, I think YouTube is actually trying to stop this stream. I honestly believe that, because I've checked all my internet connections, everything. We are still greenlit. YouTube does not want this information out there. I've already started checking into it. I'm going to be talking to a guy who handles, he's basically cut his own albums and has had to protect his own licensing property and things like that. So I'm probably going to be talking to that guy pretty soon. And believe it or not, I actually talked to his wife first, and we were just talking about the Prince Magnum channel and everything. And she got really excited about what we were going to be doing today. And she's like, you need to do this. There's a lot of stuff, shoot, there's videos here on the Prince Magnum channel that I can't even get monetized because YouTube allows bigger corporate companies to push guys like us around. We're actually going to be able to fight that under a union. And I know YouTube is sitting there saying, well, you can't do that. Yes, we can, because some of us are actually partnered with you, and we need lawyers to back us up, but we're too small time to be able to afford those lawyers. So you continue to push us around. No, you don't get to do that. So by having that lawyer system in place, through kind of, in a nutshell, what we're looking at is, if you are willing to back a creators union or a creators guild, whatever you want to call it, the design behind it is to ensure that the creators are protected. Okay. So right now, my channel is constantly being messed with as we continue to grow. I recently, not too long ago, had actually talked to a friend of mine, hi Nick, who went so far as to, he went so far, he watches everything brand new as it comes up. Okay. He had to resubscribe to the Prince Magnum channel because YouTube did a purge. He was not inactive. Okay. So these are, these are unbusinesslike. This is unscrupulous in the business world. Okay. So in essence, they're messing with my channel. They're messing with you guys' channel. Enough is enough. I'm looking in the way of the big name YouTube channels. Game Grumps out there, you guys got how many? You're willing to back the smaller community? If you're not, then you don't deserve your subscribers, because a lot of times our subscribers will, the small time YouTubers will get out there and we'll start doing stuff, and YouTube puts an algorithm, puts it in there as a suggestion. Then they go check out one of your videos. You're making money off of us. Okay. If you're not willing to back the smaller community, you don't deserve your community behind you anymore. I'm looking at guys like Markiplier, PewDiePie. You start naming them, they need to be backing us, okay? Yes, I'm even looking at some of the hot rodding channels that are out there. Yeah, I'm looking in your direction, Scotty Kilmer. I'm looking in your direction, Old Car Memories. I'm looking in your direction, Donut Media. Plain and simple, okay? It's gonna take all of us in the community to start backing us. I'm also gonna say it. The Streamy Awards, where was I? I didn't get my invite. I'm the first creator in the world to do custom cars and romance. Okay? So I guess it got lost in the mail, huh? Okay? You guys are making money off of us. Are you willing to help us put together that union to protect us creators? I would hope you would, because if you're not backing free speech. You're not backing the little guy, and it was the little guy that put you there. Boom, mic drop. All right. So plain and simple, the Prince Magnum channel is now saying we want our union. Okay. And if you have what would be the requirements? Got to have a YouTube channel. And you got to be able to put content out there. That's it. Boom. All right. $10 a year, and that would pretty well cover us all. Okay. From how many of us? You don't pay, you're not covered. We can't help you. Okay. You get your membership card. Here's, call in. This is what they're doing to us. By doing this, the lawyers can back us. Okay. And I know a good lawyer over here who would have a field day with YouTube. I know a good lawyer, good man too. Comes through drive-through, his wife comes through drive-through and picks him up a soda every day. Good guy too. He knows I'm talking about a good guy out there, okay? So again, we're starting to see where now it's time for the creators to fight back, okay? We've taken it long enough. Almost 4 years we've been taking this BS? Enough's enough, folks. Enough's enough. If you are a creator, I know you want protection, and this whole COPPA thing was the final straw for the Prince Magnum channel, okay? They left it very vague. I wasn't worried, but I'm sitting there going, a lot of my friends are, okay? And a lot of you in chat right now and everything else, you guys are my friends, okay? And I love every last one of you. And this was my attempt to start putting out the information that we need to start protecting ourselves. Again, if you got any questions, now is the time to ask. I've got a funny feeling YouTube is kind of blocking a lot of this stuff, and they're freaking out. They're panicking because someone's talking about, freedom of speech and union. Okay. People get nervous. Every business I've ever worked for, when you say the word union, they panic. Okay. That's another one, you watch people get nervous, okay? People panic when you say the word union, okay? Especially companies. As a matter of fact, I knew of one guy who was running his own business, and his employees started getting kind of fed up with how he was treating them, and they said union, and he's like, hey, there's no need for violence here, okay? Okay, there's no need for violence. If you guys want a better deal, we'll work it out, okay? But if you guys try to go union, we're going to have problems, okay? He was willing to fight it. Well, now YouTube's big enough, we can get our union, okay? If YouTube, and I know some of you out there on YouTube right now, some of you big shot officials are watching right now wondering, should we try to stop him again? Should we try to shut this stream down again? I'm going to put it to you like this. If you're sitting there at that computer taking orders from some big shot over your shoulder, It was just a couple of years ago during the apocalypse. Some of you got seriously hurt up there. Someone came in and assaulted the building. People got hurt. This union would actually protect you guys because there would be no reason for any of us to get that upset if we're protected. Okay. So if that big shot over your shoulder, stop listening right now. Okay. Listen to me. I'm telling you right now, this would protect you guys too. You guys got families and things like that. Hey, I get it. Okay. You got to put food on the table, but you can't put food on the table if you got some crazy psychopath coming in and doing you guys harm because of some bad practices from the parent company that owns YouTube. It's not your fault. Okay. So I'm looking at you guys too. This would be a help to more than you think. Okay. I'm going to say it right now. All of us in the creators community, plain and simple, it all boils down to the fact that we want to make money at what we're good at. I'm good at working on cars and talking to people about sobriety and pushing that message. And I'm, being a loving husband. I'm just preaching to many of us out there that do love our wives, and we love them very much. The focus there is, I'm just showing the world that I love my wife. So there's nothing wrong with that, okay? So I'm expressing that, and the objective for the Prince Magnum channel is to make enough money to kind of slow down and enjoy time with my wife. I'm going to tell y'all right now, back when the Prince Magnum channel was just, kind of flexing its muscles, looking at building what we have now, when that all happened, Princess Faye was in a horrible accident with the original project car of the Prince Magnum channel. No, it isn't Project Spirit. Project Spirit, we'll have to do a video on that sometime. Again. But Princess Faye was in a horrible accident, and her head went through the driver's side window. And when it did, a doctor basically said, there's an excellent chance you're going to lose either your hearing or your eyesight or both. And believe it or not, she's on the verge of, every year we got to go see Miracle Ear to see how much worse her hearing is getting. As a husband, I want to be able to be there and take care of my wife. That's the focus of the Prince Magnum channel, is to get built up enough where I can do that, where I can focus on that time while she still has her hearing. And if there's the off chance that she's also going to lose her eyesight too, it's going to be my responsibility as a husband to take care of my wife. So I need the channel to succeed. Okay. Disability doesn't pay shit. Okay. Plain and simple. All right. That's the focus of the channel. That's what we're getting behind on. All right. So I wanted to go live because I wanted to tell you all there is a solution. If you're a creator out there, it's time for the union. Okay. And I know I'm probably going to get a nasty gram in my email from YouTube saying, don't ever talk about this again. I'm going to tell you right now, the word is already out there now. And people are going to start passing this along. If you're in the stream, if you watch the playback, send this to all of your fellow creators out there. Get the information out there, okay? We're tired of this. You're not going to shut me up. I'm still on Facebook. I'm still on Twitter. If there was a Twitter face, I'd be on that too. And a lot of us that I know have YouTube channels, and we talk a lot, okay? The word is already out there. People are going to be talking. Enough is enough. You ain't going to stop us. So the creators have spoken today. You are not going to push us around anymore. If you don't want us to get the union, then start treating us like actual business partners. That's what I meant by when I was in all of you guys' streams saying, plain and simple, the Dark Prince did his homework. So that brings us to a spot, because later on tonight, I'd like to do a sober talk video. because I almost feel dirty for having to do something like this. I do feel dirty. And I want something clean and wholesome that people can get behind. I apologize if any of you, I know this is not what you guys are used to out of me. In your face is designed to grab you and pull you in and say, this is how it really is. And I didn't get sober to be pushed around, okay? I didn't get sober to be pushed around. Not by someone out in the public at large, not by some politician, and not by some dang corporate company trying to make good on my hard work. It isn't going to happen like that. All right. So I told you all I was going to get passionate about this. Told you, man. Whoo. Oh, felt like an evangelist there. Gosh dang. All right. Later on tonight, we are going to look at doing a Sober Talk live stream. Come tomorrow, we're going to begin again. It's going to be back to downloaded, actual loaded content. Share this out to all of your friends. Share the playback as much as possible, okay? Feel free to leave comments. Speak your peace of mind, all right? Stand up for yourself. Make your voice heard, okay? It's probably going to be at least another week after the Sober Talk Live. It's probably going to be around about another week or so before we do another Sober Talk Live. Sober Talk is going full-time live stream only. We're going to start hitting up some different topics on sobriety directly from Alcoholics Anonymous, some stuff that I've learned that I'm going to share with all of you. Believe me, I would much rather prefer the Prince Magnum channel always being a positive note. I feel that this was very negative, and I apologize. Again, to all of you out there that are used to the more happy-go-lucky Prince Magnum. And so I do apologize, but enough is enough. We got to stand up for ourselves, all right? So you guys know that I love every last one of you out there, all right? Even the people that are jerking us around at YouTube, okay? Still love you guys, all right? Just don't mess with my money. Oh, Tartan Snowflake, thank you. Thank you for being here for me, okay? The best thing you could do is share this out. Start getting the word out. YouTube tried to shut me down twice during this stream. Twice, okay? All internet connections are rocking and rolling, okay? So I knew better than that. It was YouTube. They're afraid, okay? We want them afraid. We want them afraid, all right? These big factories out there that'll push around the little guy, what would they do if they, all of a sudden walked out on them, okay? It's like, you can't push our people around like that, It's time for that union, okay? Or at least the threat of it. At least the threat of it, all right? You got to scare them enough. And again, if you have a bigger YouTube, start pushing the big streamers, okay? If they're not willing to back us, the bigger YouTube channels, even like, Captain Sparkles, you know who I'm talking about. Those really big names out there on YouTube. If they're not willing to back us in the smaller community, then we need to actually go out of our way and start telling people, unsubscribe. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. And this is one of these times we need to start sharing it out on social media. If these big name YouTubers out there, they're making money off of us, okay? And the smaller guy is getting screwed, but then they're still having to go back in and turn on their monetization on a lot of their videos. They're getting screwed too. And again, if they're not willing to back us, they don't deserve our subscription. I've already mentioned some of the ones that I watch. If they're not willing to back us, then they don't deserve that subscription. Shut them down. All right? The game has changed. It's time that us creators who are trying to make at least a little bit of, scrape a little bit together so we can at least add to our meager lives, and try to make our lives a little bit more comfortable. If we're getting screwed, we can't do that, okay? So that's where we are on this, okay? And again, this idea also affects the people who work at YouTube headquarters, okay? Because again, how long ago was it that there was that shooting and it was all over the apocalypse? And it was all YouTube's fault. They did it to themselves. But the worst of it is, it was innocent people that got hurt, okay? This protects the little guy who works for YouTube as well. So again, the creators have taken it back, okay? This is how we take it back. Again, big game, the big channels out there, I'm calling you guys out. It's time to start looking at us. Exactly. Thank you. Someone who knows. And see, my grandfather worked for Chrysler he worked for Chrysler for 43 years. 43 years. The union's taking care of him, okay? The design behind this is to make sure that we're taken care of, that we're protected from bad changes in YouTube, and them trying to be vague about it, forcing us to stop what we're doing. You know, and I'm wondering how long it's going to take for the Alex Jones show to grab onto this video. Yeah, I know a few people who are attached to his newscast, okay? There's a lot of people out there that know about the Prince Magnum channel all the way up in alternate media. So you guys aren't stopping me, okay? You aren't stopping me, and you're not stopping the creators. The creators have spoken again today, you know. It's high time we did. Exactly. You guys get it. All right. Gosh dang it. How many times I got to say it? The Prince Magnum channel has the best subscribers in the world. We're smart. We think outside the box. That's why you guys are the Maverick Nation. Outside of the box thinker, unorthodox and free-spirited, which again, Project Spirit, 1975 Ford Maverick. Unorthodox and free-spirited. It isn't a Mustang. All right. I'm all fired up. I need to go chill out, do something. We're going to go live later on tonight in a Sober Talk live stream, okay? I will post that time. I love you all. I love you all so much. Much love right here, okay? Telling you from the heart, you guys mean the world to me. All right. We have spoken loud and proud today. Be sure to smash the like button, and if you're not subscribed to the Prince Magnum channel, be sure to smash that sub button. Yeah, YouTube. I said sub because that's what it says. All right. And hit the bell icon. You'll know every time we go live. You'll know every time we upload a brand new video. All right. Again, power to the creators. You guys are going to start having to pony up the money that you owe us. Enough's enough. Son of a... Anyhow. All right. So that brings me to the spot where I get to say one of my favorite line. Hey, it's Jamie. Jamie, I'm getting ready to shut it down because we're going to be doing a live later on Sober Talk. Brother, I know you were one of the ones that have been worried about the whole COPPA thing. Watch the playback. Watch it close, okay? Believe me, you're going to breathe a lot easier. I know you're across the pond like a few of my other dear, just like some of y'all out there across the pond, and a lot of that, you're all worried about it. I did my homework, okay? And I dumbed it down so it respectfully none of this affects you guys, so just breathe easy. All right, brother. Jamie, I love you. Isolationist Network, another amazing guy. He actually helped the Prince Magnum channel reach its goal at 1,000 subs. So if you guys have never checked out, go in. This guy is so off the chain, I'm telling you. You go in and the first thing he says, welcome to the gingerbread house. I mean, boom, that crazy gingerbread man. So check out Isolationist Network. Check out, actually, while we're here, y'all just need to check each other out. If you're not familiar with each other, get to know one another, hang out with each other, build your community. Yeah, YouTube. I said it again. All right. So I love you all right? So let's use my favorite closing. I love this. This is like my favorite part of doing videos and stuff like that. It just feels so good. All right. And it goes like this. Get out there and work on a project. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. They make horrible bedfellows. Do not live that pipe dream. Get out there and do something with yourself, okay? If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. Do something special for them today, all right? They deserve it. They put up with us, all right? And as always, for all of you out there, even the people at YouTube, okay? Even the people at Google, all of you out there, if no one out there has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.